Well, folks, did you hear it? Elon Musk has tagged Jeff Bezos. What's gonna happen? Well, let's take a look. First and foremost, folks, sorry there was a little bit of cuts. My Wi-Fi is making troubles, and it's the reason why. I know it's irrelevant for this topic, but it's the reason why many desktop viewers cannot even watch it. One of the reasons. So, it turns out Elon Musk is now tagging Jeff Bezos.
Hey, what's up, guys? Over here. So it looks like there's some major trouble a-brewing for Hasan Piker. So over the past couple of days, there's been a lot of calls on social media putting some heat on Twitch, Amazon, its owner, and also the CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos. This comes in wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination that was fueled by political violence. And a lot of people are turning to these platforms and their owners and saying, what are you going to do about people like Hasan Piker who have been spreading hateful rhetoric on your platform? Are we going to stop this sort of thing from radicalizing people? And it's getting pretty serious. At this point, a lot of tweets are going viral. In fact, some very influential people are now responding and directly calling out Twitch and Jeff Bezos. And this couldn't happen at a worse time for Twitch. Right now, they're not even profitable. I've wondered for a long time why Amazon even puts up with them. They don't even turn a profit.
Oh, and don't forget about Rings of Power, okay? I think maybe because, think about it. You have two different things that are flopping, such as, well, besides Rings of Power, you have Twitch. Everything was owned by Amazon. Yes, they were different entities, but at the same time, the center of it goes to Amazon, okay? And I think Amazon knew if Twitch continues to bring revenue, if they ever did bring revenue, the Rings of Power will get ignored. Yeah, that's the thing. And don't forget, Rings of Power Season 2, despite being disastrous, they are now getting a Season 3. I'm not joking, they do.
That's because of their horrible infrastructure and their horrible marketing. Nobody wants to sit on this platform that's filled with a lot of garbage, quite frankly, and watch 15 ads before they can even view 1 minute of a stream. And like I said, they're not profitable. Their CEO, Dan Clancy, said this back in 2024, and things have only gotten worse. In fact, right now, Twitch's viewership across the platform is the lowest in 5 years. They're doing like pre-COVID numbers at this point. It's looking really bad. And right now, with everything going on in wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination and people trying to go out there and start cracking down on violent rhetoric being spread on social media, people are looking at Dan Clancy and his connection to Hasan Piker, who he has consistently praised for speaking what he believes.
Not a gamer himself, Clancy mostly watches musicians or talk shows on Twitch. He particularly enjoys leftist political commentator Hasan Piker, who has 2.5 million followers on the platform. I like the frankness and the bluntness, Clancy said. He's comfortable saying what he believes.
Yeah, apparently speaking what he believes contains a lot of very hateful things that are, well, quite frankly, concerning. But yesterday or 2 days ago, I talked about an article that Hasan Piker was a part of where he was talking about Charlie Kirk, and he was saying that now he fears political violence and he wants to turn down the temperature, which is incredibly ironic coming from him. And in that video, I showed about a dozen different examples of Hasan Piker making calls to political violence. You can watch the video if you want to get the specific examples. But yeah, it's not looking good for him. He looks like a hypocrite. And since then, he's come out with a flurry of articles where these platforms are hosting him and basically making him the center of attention in this situation, allowing Hasan Piker to basically be the arbiter of truth for Charlie Kirk. And you can see it's filled with a bunch of narcissism, and that is as expected from him. And a lot of people are criticizing him for doing this. It seems like a very desperate attempt at PR because he knows right now there's a lot of heat on him, and he's trying to make himself as a guy who rejects political violence.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, Hasan. What's gonna happen if they suddenly come to you? By the way, does Hasan Piker's house have security guards or even armed security? Anybody knows that? Because if they do, what's gonna happen if those security were faced against a bulldozer or, I don't know, a tank? I don't think Hasan Piker can live with it, but besides the point. Wow, amazing. The one who always advocating for political violence, or in this case, advocating for violence and extremists, is now afraid. Unbelievable. Who would have thought of that? Wait, we all do. That is interesting. Hasan, seriously, comrade.
His well-documented history of doing the exact opposite of what he's saying, and now he's mad and going after other people for quote unquote farming this stuff like the soulless husks they are. And guess what he does after that? He contributes to another article. Yep, this time with the New York Times, titled, "I was supposed to debate Charlie Kirk. Here's what I would have said." Yeah, you were supposed to debate Charlie Kirk. Well, Charlie Kirk's kids were supposed to have a dad.
Hasan Piker were to debate with Charlie Kirk, he would be demolished. The way he's talking on Twitch or anything, Charlie Kirk would demolish him piece by piece.
To make it any more about himself and be more melodramatic about this. And again, in this one as well, he ends up calling out political violence again and tries to condemn it. We know it's a bunch of hypocrisy and a chance for him to save face, which people are not buying. And really the true intentions of what he's saying about the man is coming out. It seemed at first he was trying to show some sort of shock and horror about the situation, but over the past couple of days, it's turned into nonstop attacks, especially on people supporting him or even condemning anything that's happened to him. In fact, it's shown right here. Hasan was literally seething because the New York Yankees held a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. This upset him greatly.
Holy f***. Yankees held a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Kirk founded the youth activist group Turning Point USA and had become a fixture on college campuses.
What are you doing?
Bro, the right dominates our politics so aggressively. I mean, how can you look at this? I mean, how can you look at this and see anything else? Yeah, youth activist group. Stripping its ideological convictions of all of its meat until it's just a right-wing activist with a youth group.
Together.
Yeah, look at this totally normal guy getting upset about someone getting a moment of silence at a sporting event. And by the way, for those not familiar, there have been countless major sporting events all across America and the world as well that have also held moments of silence. So I don't know if Hasan's just not seeing that, but there's also vigils all over the place. One that was just insane to show the level of influence. There is a clip of hundreds of South Koreans in English chanting, "We are Charlie Kirk." And you can like his views or not, but you can't deny his influence and how this assassination has opened a lot of people's eyes. And a lot of people have had a very intense reaction to this. It's not just the wackadoos on social media making threats and encouraging further political violence. A lot of people are mourning and commemorating and at the very least condemning what's going on. But
we all are. Listen, like I said before, I disagree on Charlie Kirk's stance on Israel and Palestine. One thing I will never do is I will never advocate for his death, okay? Never. At the end of the day, he's a human being. You guys remember the Christmas truce, don't you? Well, the Western Allies and the Germans, they fought. There was a time of peace. Christmas truce. And it's the one thing that rarely anybody remembers. And I do mean rarely because I think that's the reason why it's called rare. I mean, yes, there are some who remembered it, like for example, the veterans, the family of the veterans that served there. But to most people, it remains unknown. It remains a rare occurrence.
Hasan Piker is very upset about that. And he's upset that he doesn't have the influence this guy had. And he's just seething about it. And it really shows his true colors right here. But again, a lot of people are calling him out on social media. There are countless posts, compilations of all of his crazy statements over the years, making a demand to Twitch to do something. You can see Tectone sharing one of the many videos he's been sharing about Hasan recently. But something interesting happened here. So Madam Savvy would quote that and say a ban would not be enough. She wants Dan Clancy to step down and Twitch to make a public statement about this, and maybe even a third-party investigation into how he's allowed to curtail their rules so much. And also, she was saying down here, she might actually make an account and just read off Hasan quotes and then endlessly play it back until it gets banned for his own words for glorification of terrorism. It actually sounds like a great idea. Very funny one.
Really?
They would definitely
Great
ban it. 100%.
Try it, folks.
They don't even care about being viewed as hypocrites at this point. But there was another development. Elon Musk would reply to that previous quote saying, "What's up here, Jeff Bezos?" directly tagging the CEO of Amazon, who owns, of course, Twitch. And it's getting an incredible amount of attention And this is a pretty crazy thing to see. Again, you don't have to like Elon Musk, but he's obviously an influential man, and directly calling out Jeff Bezos in the name of Hasan Piker and Twitch is a wild thing to see. And who knows if we'll actually get some action, but there have been some cooler heads to prevail, or so we think. Here's Jenk, who is making some tweets trying to condemn people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and condemning further calls for violence and saying, hey, I talked to some right-wing friends today and realized one of the biggest problems is that they're only seeing the crazies that are saying disgusting things about Charlie Kirk. And then Tectone says, the biggest problem is your effing nephew.
That's right.
That's right. This is Hasan Piker's uncle. In case you didn't know, this guy's from the Young Turks. He's a political commentator. And yeah, the Nepo baby accusations are very, very real when it comes to Hasan. And it's very ironic for him to be trying to make these calls for peace and to condemn the crazies out there. But then he says nothing about his own nephew. And he's very aware of this. All of his posts are being flooded with this stuff. And he's a hypocrite as well.
Yeah,
I watched this section from the Rubin Report where they were playing clips from him of him mocking Charlie Kirk just years ago when he was attacked by Antifa. And he said he was smiling because Charlie wanted to be a martyr so bad. Well, now he is, but he couldn't even, you can see he got very upset about hearing his own words and even said,
nice
that's
job,
not me.
Genius.
With a, reacting to a recording of himself. It's crazy. But also, we have this right here. He's saying, I'll work with anyone on the right to appeal to our better angles. Well, you should start by firing people like this. This dude works for them, and when J.D. Vance said, say a prayer for Charlie Kirk, he quoted and saying, did it work? He said, I'll be honest, I'm not seeing any evidence to suggest his neck didn't just do that on its own. Another one saying it's a fake, false flag initiative, and he's on Epstein's Island right now. Pretty insane and disgusting things. I don't know why you would ever employ someone like that, but if you want to really start kind of crossing the aisle, so to speak, I think getting rid of this maniac is probably the first start.
They won't do it, folks. Truth be told, look, the Young Turks, sec, whoever he is, he's not going to punish Hasan Piker because that's what family do. I mean, what will it take, folks? What will it take for Twitch to see the harsh reality that they are doing? They're not even reinforcing their TOS. I mean, how many viewers are left watching Twitch? I mean, yes, there are some when it comes to the gaming space, but generally, how many more are left? I think Noisy Butters, she has a Twitch channel, but most of her clips were on YouTube because I'm 100% certain most of her revenues come from YouTube or sponsorship, whichever it is. And like I said, I disagree with Charlie Kirk in his stance when it comes to Israel and Palestine, but I would never advocate for his death. I'm 100% certain that if Hasan and Charlie Kirk were to debate, Charlie Kirk can demolish him. He won't give in. Hasan Piker will be obliterated. He'll be humiliated. Sorry if I let the clip way too long. Don't worry, it's a reaction. Amazon, you're gonna have to stop doing this, okay? You can either continue to do your moronic take, letting Twitch bleed all your money, or you can just adapt and get rid of Hasan Piker and Dan Clancy. But then again, we all know they won't do it. I know this because don't forget there's also other things such as Rings of Power. How many money did they lose from there? And guess what? Rings of Power got a Season 3 despite the disastrous rating of Season 2. It may not be relevant, but I'm putting it in. And it's gonna come to a point where all viewers and all Twitch streamers will mass exodus out of the platform and go someplace else, like Rumble, Kick, or YouTube. You know, Dan Clancy? Continue to do what your moronic thing will do. If you lose your money or lose your job because of either mocking Charlie Kirk's death or still supporting Hasan Piker, hey, don't blame any of us. It was your fault, okay? None of us and none of my viewers have sympathy for you, Dan Clancy.
Well done, Griffin. Now we got this airfield secured, we can get a foothold on this island and start pushing the Japanese back. We're through retreating, lad. America's back in this war.
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, gaming theories, or you just want to see me play games. Visit my first, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.